Good day everyone, we are Group 3 and we are here to present to you Justice and Fairness in Promoting the Common Good. So ngayon titingnan natin kung ano yung pagkakaiba ng justice and fairness. Okay, so pag kasi sinabing justice, it is giving each person what he or she deserves. So binibigay sa iba't ibang tao, babae man o lalaki, yung deserve nila. Di ba madalas, lagi natin, pag may nahuhuli, you have the right to remain silent. Yung ganon, yung buong phrase na yon para siya sa lahat. Okay? Yun yung, tapos sinasabi din doon na, pag naman, magbibigay ng lawyer, so deserve yun ng bawat tao. So yun yung binibigay nun. Yun yung, justice. And, sinasabi din dito na when something is just, pag sinabi kasing just, it means decent, or deserving, fair na yon. Fair. So, pag naman sinabi nating fair, yung treatment naman yung napag-uusapan natin doon. Parang the treatment that everybody deserves. Yon. Treatment na walang biased. And dun sa fairness na yon, pumapasok din dun yung idea na everybody should be treated equally. And of course, dito din pumapasok yung moral system natin, yung moral natin. So, di ba, pag sinabi nating moral, ito yung sa sarili natin, para sa sarili natin kung tama o mali yun. So, dun pumapasok yung fairness. So, pag sinabing justice, deserve ng bawat tao o yung ibibigay natin sa kanila. Pero pag sa fairness naman, pumapasok dito yung treatment natin sa ibang tao, which is dapat equally. We should treat each other equally. Yun yung difference nila.
Common good meaning in dictionary is a group's or society's collective profit or benefit. Common good in ethics is a method of approaching ethics, makes the assumption that society is made up of people whose own well-being and related to the well-being of the group.
Thank you so much, Miss Cristinamea. Now, let's move on to the next one, which is the principle of justice. And the most fundamental principle of justice is that equals should be treated equally and unequals unequally. So, technically speaking, in its narrow sense, justice is fairness o yung pagkakapantay-pantay ng bawat tao, bawat isa, wherein actions that pays due regard to the proper interests, property, and safety of one's fellow, and on the other hand, in its broader sense, is often thought of as transcendental, or we can say that extraordinary. So, justice as fairness is more context-bound. They work to ensure that people receive their fair share of benefits. And now, let's move on with attributes of justice and fairness. And now, let's go on with the attributes of justice. So, justice is usually has been used when it comes to the standard of rightness. On the other hand, fairness often has been used in terms of an ability to judge without any involvement of one's feeling or interest. Fairness could also be used to refer to the ability to make judgment. And we have here an example. For example, we have Mr. Mike Nunez and Mr. Erickson. Both do the same work. and there are no relevant difference between them or the work they are doing. Parehas lang sila ng ginagawa. Then, in justice, they should be paid the same wage, right? Yung sweldo ni Mr. Mike, dapat almost the same din ng sweldo ni Mr. Erickson. And, if Mr. Mike is paid more than Mr. Erickson, simply because he is a man, o kaya ay lalaki-lalaki siya, o isa naman bading, let's say member ng LGBTQ+, or because he is white, he has white skin complexion, and then Mr. Erickson naman na halimbawa maitim, o kung mas mataas ang kanyang sweldo, it will be injustice, right? So that's why we are tackling about the justice and being fairness. And for the other details about it, I will proceed and I will call on Mr. Mike Nunez. And Mr. Mike Nunez, please take it away. Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, let's get to know John Rawls. John Rawls was an American moral, legal, and political philosopher. He was born on February 21, 1921 in Baltimore, Maryland, United States. He died on November 24, 2002 at the age of 81 years old because of congestive heart failure in Lexington, Massachusetts, United States.
Impacts of John Rawls' theory of justice. Rawls' theory of justice advocates fairness. This makes every individual as rational thinkers, and eventually make the decisions that are rationalistic. He advocates fairness that help the individual to make decisions and to be a rationalistic. Veil of ignorance is a kind of this device for helping people to be fair by pretending that they are ignorant of their personal circumstances.
So, ito na yung dalawang principle ni John Rawls on the justice. Ito yung una niyang principle or the so-called liberty principle, where each person has an equal right to fully adequate scheme of equal basic liberties, which is compatible with the similar scheme of liberties for all. Basically, yung principle na to is everyone has the same or equal basic liberties which can never be taken away from them. And this, parang nagkaroon sila na parang lahat may freedom, basically lahat may freedom or may human rights, such as freedom to speech, freedom to make decisions, and freedom to travel around the world. So ito yung pangalawang principle ni John Rawls, which is the difference principle, which social and economic principle are to satisfy these two conditions. The first one is that they must be attached to offices and positions open to all under conditions of fair equality of opportunity. This condition is also called the opportunity principle. And the second one naman is that they must be the greatest benefits of the least advantaged members of the society. Parang sinasabi dito na yung dapat daw nagkakaroon ng yung merong mas major na benefits is yung mga least advantage sa society natin. Bale, yung principle na to, pinipavored niya yung maximizing the improvement of the least advantaged group in the society. And he would not only provide for equality of opportunity, but also such possible ways as guaranteed minimum income or minimum wages. The first type of justice is retributive justice. It refers to the degree to which punishment are fair and just. So, yung punishment dito, kinukonsider nila yung relevant points like the severity of the action or kung gaano kalala yung offense ng criminal and kung ano rin yung purpose niya. While disregard nila yung irrelevant factors like such as the skin color and their race. So, for the example, parang napaka-unfair naman kung isi-sentence mo ng death penalty yung magnanakaw sa pagnanakaw lang ng 1 peso or a cent. So, ito yung pinaka-ano niya. Yung parang hindi siya may justice pero hindi nakadepende siya kung gaano kalala yung ginawa ng criminal. And another example nito is kuwari na aksidente kang nakasakit ng isang tao without intending to do so. Parang napaka sobrang severe naman yung death penalty for that.
Compensatory justice ay pag-provide o pagbibigay ng tulong sa mga biktima ng injustice. Ang goal nito ay mabayaran mismo ang mga biktima ng injustice. For example, kayo ng katrabaho mo ay parehas ng oras ng trabaho, parehas ng pasok, parehas ng ginagawa sa trabaho, parehas kayo ng ginagawa sa buong trabaho niyo. Ngunit, siya ang nakakaangat sa sahod, ikaw ay mababa ang sahod mo. Kaya, kumbaga, ang compensatory justice, ito yung magbibigay tulong para makuha mo ang nadarapat na sahod para sa iyo, makuha mo ang tamang sahod para sa iyo, makuha mo ang nararapat.
For distributive justice refers to how people view their own treatment, or more generally how they believe an allocation to be fair. And one of the kind example in distributive justice is workers receiving equal compensation for equal effort, people having access to high quality healthcare and education, and many other things.
Economic egalitarian is believing that all working people need to be paid equally, like janitors need to receive the same salary as a doctor. No matter how hard the work or how easy the work, they believe that all people need to have an equal outcome. Moral egalitarian believes that all people must receive the same amount of fairness, no matter what is your status in life. Even if you are a felon that is convicted as a murderer, you can receive the same amount of respect from the people that they give to civilians. They can give you the justice that you need if you need it.
Locke egalitarianism. It is a view about distributive justice and also believe that the distribution of flock in society should be equal for all people. Naka-base lang siya sa kung paano dapat atuhin ang lahat ng tao equally. For example, employees get paid the same amount for doing the same work. Dapat lang na sapat yung makukuha nilang sweldo sa kung paano sila magtrabaho. The gender egalitarianism. It is that all people, no matter what their gender is, should be treated equally. Dito sa gender egalitarianism is lahat ng tao naman ang gender nila is dapat tratuhin ng tama at pantay. For example, equality in the workplace. It must be ensured by offering equal jobs, responsibilities, and compensation. Example, it is not uncommon for women to carry out duties that were once traditionally thought to be men's work. Yung trabaho ng panglalaki noon is kaya ng trabahuin ng mga babae ngayon.
Legal egalitarianism. According to the idea of legal egalitarianism, all people are bound by the laws, by the same laws. Hence, no group has legal protection over another. At this point, legal egalitarianism, as everyone is subject to the same laws. No group is granted exclusive legal protection over others. Ang ibig sabihin dito ay nakapailalim sa mga parehong batas ang mga walang grupo na nabibigyan ng eksklusibong legal na protection. For example, all men are created equal. The United States Declaration of Independence from 1776 incorporates a form of moral and legal egalitarianism. Ang pinapagbatid naman doon ay ang United States daw ay nagdeklara ng kalayaan ng estados mula 1776 at nagsama-sama ang isang moral at legal na egalitarianism. Political egalitarianism. Political egalitarian support democracy and call for everyone to have an equal say in matters of governing authority. Every teacher at the school would have the same level of authority and influence under political egalitarianism. Nevertheless, political egalitarians support democracy and call for everyone to have an equal say in matters of governing authority. At this political egalitarianism, every person has an equal social power or influence over politics in the workplace, the government, and the day-to-day life. Dito, tinutukoy na ang bawat tao daw ay may pantay na panlipunang kapangyarihan o influensyang pangpolitikal na lugar sa trabaho at gobyerno na may pang-araw-araw na buhay. According to the political equality idea, for instance, administrator have the authority to decide on behalf of their teachers and staff for the school and grade. Each person has the same social influence or authority over politics in their day-to-day activities at work and with their government according to political egalitarianism. Ang bawat tao daw dito ay may pare-parehong panlipunang impluensya o otoridad sa politika sa kanilang pang-araw-araw. Example, teacher and staffs are subject to the principal's decision regarding the school and grade. Ang bawat teacher daw or ang bawat kawani ng guro ay nakapailalim sa mga desisyon ng punong guro tungkol sa mga paaralan at grado.
So now let us move on to the idea of opportunity. So paano pag sinabi nating opportunity? Opportunity, equal opportunity for everyone. Okay? Regardless of the outcome. So, basta, lagi niyong tatandaan dito, opportunity, yun lang mismo yung word doon. Yung dapat magkaroon tayo ng equal opportunity sa bawat isa. So, ano ba yung example dito? For example, all students should be offered to have scholarship regardless of if they are underprivileged or not. So, dito sa example na to, sinasabi na dapat lahat ng mga estudyante ay na-offeran ng scholarship regardless if mayaman sila or hindi. So, nagkaroon ng opportunity yung mga tao sa example, yung mga students dun sa example. So, opportunity, ang equal opportunity for everyone. Now, paano pag sinabi natin Christians? So, pag sinabi natin Christian, Bible mandates gender equality. Okay? So, parang binibigyan pansin dapat ang gender equality sa Christian. Okay? And giving women to do the spiritual head. So, paano yung mga spiritual authorities sa simbahan? So, ano pa yun? Ano yung example nun? So, sinabi na yung example dito, which is, yun nga, yung maging head sila. Ano ba yung, or yung parang idea ng babae yung magka-clergy. Pag sinabi kasing clergy, pwedeng priest, or pastor, or pope, bishop, yun. So, di ba madalas lalaki yun? Kahit nga sakristan, madalang na lang makita ang babaeng sakristan. So, pag sa Christian, parang mas binibigyan pansin dapat ang babae at dapat binibigyan ng equal opportunity ang babae para maging um, o pare or pope or bishop, yung isa sa mga head authorities sa simbahan.
And now let's go on with the racial equality, and is one of the most common issues in social justice. And many countries have history of discrimination or oppressions of minority ethnic or racial groups. Members of this group may be at an economic disadvantage or suffer from an unequal access to education, health services, or other essential institutions. Actually, even in the Philippines, we have 110 ethno-linguistic indigenous groups. They're experiencing discrimination, degradation of resource bases, and even armed conflict. And there's a high rates of unemployment and even illiteracy. So yun yung nangyayari sa Pilipinas. But not only in the Philippines, even in other countries, even in New Zealand, when I was researching, I've seen that they are also suffering from discrimination when it comes to health. They are seeking for health medication, something like that. It's hard for them to be prioritized, and other countries as well. Okay, and thank you so much. And now let's move on to the next discussion.
Capitalism. Capitalism is a private property-owned economic system, where it is a system in which means of production and all property are privately owned. Isa siyang sistema na kung saan ang mga pamamaraan ng produksyon at distribusyon ay pagmamayari ng mga pribadong individual. Example is lupain, nagmamayari ka ng lupa, factory, or even companies and others.
Capitalism is the best system we have come up with so far, and when we combine with a real commitment to ethics. For example, it offers society the best opportunity to create wealth and lift people out of poverty. And it is to ensure that humanity is served by wealth and not ruled by it. That is the essence of ethical capitalism. We have no choice but to give it a try.
The last type of justice is the social justice. It is the fair and equitable distribution of resources, opportunities, and privileges in society. This includes fairness in healthcare, employment, housing, and more. In a socially justice society, human rights are respected and basically discrimination is not allowed in this type of justice. For instance, ito yung isa sa mga kinakalaban pa rin ng social justice hanggang ngayon sa 2023, which is the racism, equity, education, healthcare, and LGBTQ+. And another example nito is yung parang pinaglalaban ng mga social justice theories that all people should have an equal access to education, healthcare, and opportunities to all.
Safety, education, health, welfare, etc. is the responsibility of the states to its jurisdiction. Protecting and promoting human rights is one of the responsibilities of the state that needs to be done without discrimination. No matter who he or she is, the state is legally obligated to offer and to serve people to its jurisdiction.
For the example, connected in ensuring the human rights are responsibilities of the state to the citizen is that state authorities must not keep people from educating themselves. They must not tolerate unfair trials, and they must not be tortured. An obligation of this type is called an obligation to respect the human rights standard, or in short, the obligation to respect. Also, a fundamental aspect of state's obligation is that of non-discrimination. The principle of non-discrimination in the implementation and enforcement of human rights emphasizes the fact that everyone is entitled to the enjoyment of human rights, irrespective of his or her color, gender, religion, ethnic, social, or national origin, political or other opinion, property, birth, or other status. The principle of non-discrimination prohibits distinctions, exclusions, restrictions, and limitations in the execution of states' obligations that are not based on the nature of the obligation.
There are different kinds of justice: social, political, economical, and legal justice. Individuals' basic human dignity is violated whenever they are treated unfairly on the basis of arbitrary and irrelevant attributes, which is why justice is a fundamental component of ethics and should be given the attention it deserves in our moral life. Social justices is the equality of all persons in the society. Political justice requires equal political rights while keeping the social values, tradition, and sense of right or wrong. Economic justice. All individuals have suitable opportunities, live, and provide financial security. And last, legal justice is a rule of law that ensures that all men are equal before applying equality to all. Justice is a central part of ethics and should be given consideration in our moral life.